Greetings, night creatures! Professor Anton Griffin here from Professor Griffin's Midnight Theater in beautiful Austin, Texas. And today I'm thrilled to be having the opportunity to speak with the man who is responsible for the look of the new Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, premiering this month on Netflix. That's right, Mr. Todd Tucker from Illusion Industries himself has joined us. Thank you, Todd.
Nice to be here. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. It's a thrill. And as I did mention, we are here in beautiful Austin, Texas, where the barbecue is very meaty and fresh.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Well, I would assume there'd be a lot of fans of Texas Chainsaw, being that you are in Texas.
Oh, yes. Yes. And believe me, I dressed appropriately, and I made sure that I wore Pam's bracelet on the right arm, because there are fans who will say, hey, Professor, you put that on the wrong arm.
And the fans know. They do know.
Oh, they do. And I'm obviously a fan myself. I love the franchise. I love the character. I love Toby Hooper and Bob Burns and everything they did in '74. But I do want to introduce, there you are. I want to introduce you to the viewers and talk just briefly about your career. It's an amazing, storied career going back. I think your first major was Hook. Is that right?
Yeah. I started very young. I moved to Hollywood in 1990, and I started with a company, and the first major film I worked on was Hook. I was a huge Spielberg fan, a huge Robin Williams fan, so it was just a dream come true to even be on that film. And then got to work on a bunch of really cool films like Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman. I got to work on Mrs. Doubtfire with Robin again. Robin was just like, growing up for me, was like the guy. He was the coolest thing there was. So, and then I got to meet this really weird dude named Jim Carrey, and did a movie called The Mask with him.
Oh, yes.
And now when I say I got to do it, it's not me personally. It's me and a team of creative guys working at a shop. So it's always a group of people that are working on these projects. But and then I opened up Illusion Industries, which is my company that I own now, about 10 years ago. And one of the first films we did as Illusion Industries was the Smurfs for Sony. We did the Gargamel makeup on Hank Azaria, and did G.I. Joe Retaliation, and the Iceman, and Ouija for Blumhouse. We've had a good time. And then most recently, we were fortunate enough, I literally got a phone call. I reached out to a producer I'd worked with before, and he was now working at Legendary. And I'd worked with him on G.I. Joe and Jack Reacher. His name's Herb Gaines. And I reached out to him and hadn't talked to him for a while. And he goes, "Yeah, perfect timing, kid." And I go, "Why is that?" And he goes, "Because I'm working at Legendary now, and we're doing this little, low budget project, and I need you to do the lead character." And I go, "Oh, okay." And I'm thinking, what is it going to be? And then he goes, "It's Leatherface." And I started laughing because I thought he was messing with me. Right. And he goes, "What are you laughing at?" And I go, "Wait, are you serious?" And he goes, "Yeah, why? What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm in. So I was so happy. And then 2 weeks after we started the project, everything shut down for COVID. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to lose this movie. It's going to disappear and go away. Oh. And they called me and said, "Hey man, we're going to keep going forward. If you want to do it, let's do it." And I'm like, I am in. So it was difficult to find a crew because that was right when everyone was freaking out about COVID. No one wanted to leave their building or their house. So it was really hard to find a crew, but I did find a crew. And then my right-hand guy, who has been my key artist for Illusion Industries and a good friend of mine, he's been with me forever. His name is Martin Astles. And Martin is, I believe, potentially one of the most intelligent book knowledge smart guys about Leatherface and Texas Chainsaw Massacre of anyone I've ever met in my career.
Nice.
So much so that he became the go-to guy for anything information on set. He was the guy. So he ended up, I had to hand it over to him. So he sculpted and designed the face that went on Leatherface.
Okay.
And then I brought in some other guys, a really, really great artist named Miles Tevis. Miles has done all kinds of things. He worked on Blade and Van Helsing. He actually created the original Batman suit. I mean, he's that guy.
Oh, wow.
He worked on Legend. He did Meg Bucklebones and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
He was that guy.
That's right. He worked with Rob Bottin doing that?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So Miles did a really cool concept design of Leatherface without the face on it, of what the character would look like. Right. And then I had another artist who I work with a lot named John Donahue, and we did full body designs to figure out what his body shape would look like. Sure. And figure out the wardrobe too, because at one point in time, they were considering him wearing a woman's dress, right. The same as the face that he was wearing, the same person, but it just didn't work out. So we did some designs and showed what that would look like. That just didn't work out. And then
without spoiling anything too much, because obviously we don't want to do that, but yeah, you piqued my interest because you mentioned a couple of things that I'm going to follow up on. In '74, when Burns did the original concepts, Leatherface, well, first of all, let me ask you this. Did you and your team go back and take a look at some of the earlier ones, or did you only focus on the original, since this is a direct sequel to the original, right?
We were told specifically nothing exists except the first one.
Gotcha. Okay. So in that first one, so now I can warm up here, because in that first one, something that we noticed that we love about Leatherface, the character, is that he's got different faces for different things he does, seemingly. There's the killing mask, and of course there's the old lady mask that he's when he's cooking, and he's got the pretty lady mask that he wears for dinner. Again, without spoiling anything, does he wear more than one face in this new one?
Okay, so let's see, how do I answer this? No, he does not. Okay. But when he first puts the face on, it's relatively clean.
Okay.
As the movie progresses, he is covered, and there is nothing left but blood and gore.
Right. And I've seen that still of the covered in it.
So I mean, his face doesn't change out. It's the same face, but ultimately it looks different all throughout the film because it progresses. And that was the hardest thing on set. We built everything in the studio, and then they informed us that they were going to shoot the film in Bulgaria.
Right. Okay.
Right. And that we could only send one person to head up everything. So I sent Martin again, because Martin and I both kind of take shows, and like I'll send him on one show while I do the other. He's such a knowledgeable guy, and he designed the face, and he knows this product like no one I've ever met. Right. It just made sense for him to go, and he was dying to go. So I sent him, and ultimately when he got there, we had made like 15 different faces. No, I'm sorry. I think it was 22 different faces, silicone faces that we had to send over there. And he had to take most of them with him because shipping was horrible. You couldn't get anything shipped out of the country. So shipping was really bad. So he took most of this with him. We also made like 20 sets of fake teeth. And we also knew that he was going to have to put stunt guys in this makeup and teeth also. Right. So when he got there, one of the most difficult things was the face that would get through pages 20 to 40 looked one way, but then all the terror started going nutty. And then from page 40 to 50, it would look another way. From page 50 to 60, it would look worse, and it would continue to get worse. So they didn't shoot in sequence. So anytime they would go back and have to shoot a shot from a different time frame, he'd have to figure out which of the 25 faces was the right one.
I also don't envy him going through customs with a satchel full of faces.
I heard it was a little tricky and a little sticky, but apparently it worked out.
It worked out. So
Yeah.
so when in the original with Leatherface and the way he did his faces, it was almost as if he was preserving the physical face. There was a lot of stitch work along the sides, a lot of stitch work in the neck area, but it was almost as if vanity-wise he wanted to preserve the face. Again, without spoiling anything, is there any sequence that shows Leatherface putting this together, making it, or is it something he just had previously dried and weathered and ready to go, or is it a fresh face that he just gets back into this? Again,
Well,
no spoilers.
how do I not? I will say that it is fresh.
Okay.
It's one face throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. Okay, so here's the thing. When we read the script, and I can't give anything away, but there was an opportunity here in the beginning of this story to show a side of Leatherface that I don't think we've seen before.
Oh, okay.
And in doing so, we decided that we were going to sculpt the face so that it was sad.
Yeah.
And we showed the studio and they're like, no, it needs to be scary, scary, scary. And we like, you have to understand, as important as it was for Michael Myers' mask to have no expression at all,
Right.
it gave you everywhere to go when he was going crazy. Your mind took that face and it went crazy. If we make Leatherface scary from the get-go, you have nowhere to go. If he has a solemn, sad look,
Yeah.
when he's looking down at the ground and thinking, he's a whole nother person. It doesn't matter. He's going to become a wrecking machine. We know what's going to go down.
Yeah.
But it just gave him so much more emotion. And
Yeah.
it kind of ties into what you're going to see at the beginning of the story, which almost, in a way, makes what he's doing justifiable.
Well, again, I read an
Sort of. I mean, not really, but
I get it. But
to
it's
a
almost
point.
as if a counterculture thing is happening again, just like in '74, where it was these backwoods cannibals and the hippies that basically walk into his house. There's almost a generational thing here, and from what I've seen in the trailers and read in an interview with the director in Entertainment Weekly, he talked about how it's almost like hipster millennials are coming into Leatherface's circle. And once again, you have this class of culture. Even in the trailer that we've all seen many times, there's that line, "You do anything and you're canceled, bro." And then there's Leatherface with a chainsaw. So
I'll tell you what. I guarantee this. If you are a Leatherface fan, the level of violence and intensity and what this guy does
yes.
will deliver 120%. And there's a scene inside that bus that is going to make people lose their mind. Now, I saw that trailer and they show that, and it's kind of cheesy and fun.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you're canceled, dude. It's almost kind of funny and stuff.
Right.
I will tell you, that is the only time in that damn movie where something even comes off remotely funny.
Oh, cool. Okay, good to know, actually.
So it's not a cheesy
wondering,
movie.
yeah.
And this movie has, I believe, Leatherface is mobile in this movie, man. He is a badass. He's not a lumbering idiot. So this movie's got some action, man, and it was shot really, really well. For people who love that kind of real raw look, that's not what this one is. This has a beautiful cinematic vibe. It looks really, really nice.
Yeah.
But I do believe, in my opinion, and I think everyone has seen, because they have Leatherface's face on the movie poster and they have him in the trailer. You know exactly what he looks like.
Yeah.
We did make a few changes, but they're based on the script.
Uh-huh.
They were based on the script and what's happening in the script. That's why his face looks the way it does. That's why his hair is all flat and stringy and creepy cool.
Right. He never wears a wig.
No
wigs. Okay.
No. I do believe that you're gonna have certain hardcore fans that are gonna be like, it's not exactly the same, right? But you can't do that. You got to make it somehow current. But there are enough references to number one and number one only that are going to make you personally happy. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I think you're going to have 20-year-old kids who may not really know who Leatherface is.
Right.
Go, holy crap, Leatherface.
Well, it looks amazing visually, and the concept, of Sally Hardesty coming back after almost 50 years, which of course brings up another very important question that again, no spoilers, but if Leatherface is the same guy, let's say he was in his 20s, let's just go ahead and say he was 20, he's going to be somewhere up there pushing 70, if not more, in this. So there's a shot on a trailer that I saw, and I think it was from an overseas trailer that showed Leatherface briefly going to the windows and opening curtains. And he does it in a way that it's incredibly reminiscent of Gunnar Hansen in that shot, where he lumbers to the window and he throws open the curtains and he looks back and forth. I mean, I'm just like, oh my God, it looks like Gunnar Hansen doing that. So,
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. So Mark Burnham, who plays Leatherface, he came in and we talked to him, and I was like, and Martin too, man. Because again, Martin was like dissecting this like crazy because he has so much knowledge, and he was like, so we talked to Mark, and we were like, really watch Gunnar. If you can grab any body motions or even just the way he's kind of thinking as he's doing something, right. If you can grab that and then imagine that you're 40 years older doing that same type of thing, how would that work? Right. And Mark's like, yeah, that's really cool. So I know that he studied Gunnar quite a bit. And and Mark isn't, Mark's probably not too far. I mean, he's not that old, but he's in his, actually, I don't know exactly how old he is. I'm guessing mid 40s or something like that. Sure. But anyway, he played the character at the correct age. Yeah. But really pissed off.
That's fantastic.
But you know what, though? Here's the thing is, in this movie, you will see there is almost a justifiable reason why Leatherface deserves revenge. And I'm not going to give anything away, but it's not from people wandering into his house by accident and looking for a phone, to use. Right. There's a more of a justifiable reason. And I kind of, if I was completely crazy and I was him, I might do the same thing.
Now, I one of the great parts about Chainsaw, all of them, frankly, was the relationship that Leatherface has with his family. Right. Everything from Drayton Sawyer and Nubbins in the first one to even Chop Top, in part two. The relationships can be that family unit that is turned on its ear, and you see these basically nihilistic characters that have lost all sense of right and wrong and think of people like meat. That's fine, and it works almost on a semi-humorous state. The reason where I'm getting at is, again, without spoiling too much, are there other members of the Leatherface family that we're going to meet?
So I will just say this. So Leatherface is now as old as he is. Uh-huh. The family's not part of this.
Okay.
But he is now in an environment that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
And very believable to what might happen if the family wasn't in the mix anymore.
Right.
So as a fan of the original story, if you could imagine where he would be today if the family wasn't in the mix.
Gotcha.
It will justify again why he does what he does.
Love it.
Which I think is cool. That's really cool. I mean, to me, it's like for monsters that are on the kill and slashers and all that, it's always more satisfying when there's a motive behind it that you can identify with and almost get behind, even though it's a horrible, horrible thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Freddy Krueger, not a chance in hell. He was a child molester. You're out. Sorry. Gone. Right. Michael Myers kind of blew it because he really didn't have a reason. He was just really pissed off that his sister was getting,
evil, as Donald Pleasant said.
He was just
evil.
Just evil. But I mean, like Jason had a reason. Jason was a victim who seeked revenge. So I mean, it's kind of cool when they have at least a purpose that you can go, it's really bad, but
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree with that. It makes them much more interesting. And I like your idea of just not repeating what came before. I mean, yes, we'll always have 74. We're always going to have that original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but if this adds to the mythology of the character, and we would get to watch him grow and change over the almost 50 years that he's still alive, what we have is going to, I think, thrill people, because now we get to see Leatherface. Now, he's not the same, of course. He's changed. We all change as we get older. God knows, I creak all the time. But for him, exactly how is this going to work for him? And going back to a design question, because we got a little sidetracked there, I apologize. Talk to me about his costume, if you can, in some detail. I see a green shirt. I see an apron. Is it a traditional butcher's apron, similar to one he was wearing in the original, or is it something special? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we kept the costume pretty straightforward. No suit. I mean, he has a tie on and he has that green shirt. We tried to, it was important to kind of to make it feel organic.
Sure.
Organic to the story, organic to where he is, what he would be wearing at this point in his life, in the place that he's at. I mean, we really, tried to put some theory behind the script as to what things would look like and why they would be the way they were. Yeah. And then a couple times we had to fight for the vision to make sure that they understood why, like the sadder face and everything,
sure.
To really explain to them. And thank God that I really believe that face. And the cool thing about that face is that we figured out a way, and this is Martin figured this out. Martin's a genius. We created a vacuum form, almost like Batman face helmet thing that attached to Mark, that had all of these Velcro tabs on it. And then we embedded the other side of the Velcro into the silicone faces so that we could put them onto the vacuum form face, and we could literally like change the expression a little bit by making it a little higher or a little lower. So if the scene was he was more pissed off, we could bring it down and make him a little bit more this, right? Uh-huh. And then that way we could take Mark out of the makeup in like no time at all. So Martin was able to take him out, and then we had multiple stunt guys going on. So Martin was putting these guys in, the stunt guys in, and he was a one-man show, and it was like really difficult. So we figured out ways to make it as simple for him as possible. But I don't know, man. I'm a huge fan of this look, and it's not just because we made it. I just really, really like how his silhouette and how he just looks really dingy and kind of real and organically real. We didn't do a lot of makeup. We didn't do a lot of white powdery face or anything. We just kept it silicone skin that just looks, and basically it becomes blood and dry blood, and it's just
stays. Adds a little bit more to it. That's fantastic.
So it's kind of cool.
I am so looking forward to this, and I know this will give the fans a nice tease and get them even more excited for this premiere on Netflix. And I am thrilled, and I can't thank you enough for taking time to talk to us about that, especially some of those details, the changing expressions. That was something I didn't even consider. So I'm thrilled to see how that's going to work.
Little things to look for.
Right. To watch for. Mr. Tucker, thank you so very much for your time and for your expertise and for your talent and for giving us a Leatherface for 2022.
Absolutely. And if you want to see any photos, we're going to be posting all kinds of photos of Leatherface and cool stuff right after the film comes out. You can check it out on my website of illusionindustries.com, or you can check it out at my personal Instagram at Todd Tucker Official Instagram, and we'll have videos and stuff you can't see anywhere else.
Fantastic. Mr. Tucker, thank you so much. I'm thrilled, and we're all going to enjoy this. Remember, the Saw is family, ladies and gentlemen. This is Professor Griffin from Austin, Texas at the Midnight Theater saying to you all, rest in peace and thank you.